Hey, welcome to Chopping It Up. I am CrunkChocolate. Please hit those thumbs up if you're watching on the YouTubes. Leave a comment. Hit up the live chat if you want to. Let's get lit in here. Let's have a little fun, shall we? Chopping It Up is where I get a chance to dig into some conversations, be an antagonist a little, start some trouble. Ask some real questions, yard. For tonight, I have a wonderful guest for you. I threw him under the proverbial bus the last time he came on, and I'm just a creature of habit, so I'm just gonna do it again. I got to give the people what they need. If you have a problem with Man City player ratings, he is the man you need to specifically at. He controls it all. Don't let him lie to you. He writes words for City Extra. And if you are a cinephile, you need to check his podcast out, After School Cinema Club, Shady Gang. Give it up for our friend, a part of Shady Gang, the homie, Dillon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I am single person in charge for all player ratings in FIFA / EA Sports FC.
Yep.
Strictly me.
Yep. Him. And if you want to make it specifically about City, we can do that too. But I just want to say he is the man for all of it. Let's just keep it all on. I'm doubling down on here. Well, I'm excited to have you on. How are you? How are things? How have you been?
Things are good. I've been, it's been a crazy kind of hectic week from a city standpoint. Tomorrow, obviously, what we're about to be talking about. And on Thursday, I'm flying to Manchester. It's gonna be my first time visiting, I'm gonna go for the West Ham match. Then I'm gonna go. Got tickets for Wembley.
Let's go. Let's go.
Going to the FA Cup final. But what about yourself, man?
Man, just good. You are my first live show. I'm in front of the camera for the first time in 2 weeks. I've been behind the scenes handling things for SOB Network. A lot of things that we got going on for the summer content season. There's some more. There's actually too many things that I'm working on. So just been handling those. And it's been fun, but it's so nice being back in front of the camera. Hey, everybody, I missed you. Have you missed me? Most of you probably not. I'm too much in the best way possible, ain't I? But let's get into this match tomorrow. Tottenham. First off, before we actually get into anything, how are you just feeling about the match? Where's emotional, mentally? Where are you?
I mean, it's obviously it's nerve-wracking. I think when you think about it, I mean, have never won the Premier League. They've won once, which was back in January or February with the Ake kind of knock in with the awkward situation in front of the goal. So it's nervy in that sense. I don't really know how much stock to truly put in that. Like if it's a curse, I understand City fans being worried. That being said, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit more. This Tottenham side right now is not in the best of shape, and with the Villa result, it's even going to be that much harder for them to qualify for Europe. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think I'm a little bit different than most of City Twitter. What about you?
They're kicking it with Fulham, flying kites, talking about where they're going for vacation. It's going to be a vibe against these next two teams. West Ham, you think they're going to help Arsenal win the title? I'm not saying they're going to let us just score. Ederson, he might just boot it long, and if everybody just for some reason can't hit the ball and it just trickles in, even the keeper, it goes the wrong way. I'm just saying anything's possible. Maybe I'm just embracing the insanity, the silly, to hide and mask all my fear. But honestly, I'm not. We've been through this. I can't. Yeah. I can't. My brain refuses to even acknowledge a world where Manchester City do not win a fourth Premier League in a row. Yes, it can happen. That is just what happened, and I'm not gonna lose it. I mean, I probably won't go live. You might not hear me on social media for a day. I won't be losing it on camera. There are plenty of other people who will gladly record themselves losing it, and I will probably not even watch that head loss because I'm just gonna be a mess, man. Like, do you even remember what it's like to not have a Premier League title? Like, do you remember?
I do.
I
have vivid memories of 1920.
Oh, we're doing this. Oh,
I do.
I'm being silly, Dillon. I'm being silly. Let me be silly.
You're allowed to be. I can be the yin to your yang.
No, because you make me sound like a fake and a plastic by doing that. I know we got to do this. Like, yes, typical City. We've struggled. The past is behind us, though. We the Giants now.
Absolutely.
Real Madrid had to. Ancelotti admitted, hey, you know, we had to do what we had to do to get through, and respect, like truly respect. But that ain't the shit I want to hear. You know, bitches. Like, I'm calling it out. Like, I'm so annoyed by all that. But you know, that's like a moral victory. Really, we're not in the final. We're not through anything.
Absolutely.
So, okay, back to Tottenham. Let's get into this. Because I agree, they're not. I don't think they're tapped in. Hold on, let's get George. Hello, thank you. It's good to see you too. George, you stay tapped in with people, and that is a wonderful thing to see, and it is appreciated. Oh man, I'm seeing it like a spike in our views. It's probably because I was wilding. My bad. Oh goodness. But yeah, okay. Tottenham. Why are you worried about them? Is there anyone in particular? Because I'm not in the curse. We beat them at home. So technically the curse has been broken. I refuse to people to, yes, you need to do it a second time, but this is our chance to do it a second time. We have to win the Premier League. You don't get much more inspiration, a push. You're thrusted out. Yeah. So actually, let's start here with the starting 11 because this is intense. Who do you put in midfield? Who are you putting next to Rodri?
Oh, I think it's KDB and Kovacic. I don't think that's what they've been rolling with. I think especially away, he's not going to want to put anyone else there. I think he's going to want to keep it a little controlled, especially with Spurs being able to attack on the counter. So obviously Rodri and Rodri at the pivot. And then with KDB and Kovacic, which he's been running pretty regularly now. And then my guess is it's going to be Bernardo on the right and then Foden on the left with Haaland through the middle.
It's been working. It's good. I know people hate seeing Phil on the left, but where else are you going to put him? Kova's been fantastic. He's just getting a little too creative with some of his passes. Like when we lose a ball, it's usually Kovacic. So it's he needs to tighten that up with these next two games, especially with Tottenham, because we know that is their thing, is countering and coming back at you with blistering speed. Defense, where are you thinking? Because Pep was recently quoted talking about Stones and basically just being like, yeah, he's great, but he's not the hot hand right now. And so to me, that sounds like KDB's, or not KDB, Pep, but also Ake's hurt. So yeah, who is that backfield? Who comes in and replaces Ake?
I mean, my guess is he's going to want to have Walker, I think, to deal with pace, especially with Son.
Mm-hmm.
Diaz, obviously, Gvardiol, you can't drop him. He's going to be on the left, especially if Ake is not healthy. My guess is he's going to go with Akanji. There's nothing wrong with that. I prefer Akanji when he's on the right. Akanji when he's on the right.
I do too. Yeah.
So, but I get like not wanting to put Stones there with, either whether he's not from a sharpness level, just like from a pure, just like hasn't played, whether it's fitness, injury, whatever it is. I get not wanting to thrust him into what is going to be like a really high stakes match. So my guess is it would be Gvardiol at left back, Akanji, Diaz, and then Walker on right.
No arguments there, but also I'm not the starting 11 person. I'm actually the person. I hate these FPL anticipators who come through with their guesses and they know people. Like, bro, shut up. Like, just let the people let the managers do their job. Like, I know that's a hot take, and
I'm always surprised how they get the info. That's always the
Like,
thing.
I
It's
don't like it. I hate it. I hate it.
Who is telling this person with like 20,000 followers that like this person isn't going to start tomorrow? It's like that's crazy. You got to fix your
I don't like
leaks.
that.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Like, I hate it so much. So much. And I know, and that sounds like a shot to all these people who are insiders, and I'm sorry for it. But I mean, there are some that I love. I was about to say they, but it's like I ain't doing this right now. But, there are a couple people that I do respect the words, but they're not definite. And I feel like all these FPL people, they're definite. They're like, this is going to happen. And the ones that I like, they're like, hey, this little birdie's telling me, take it, leave it. But I feel strongly about this. I don't feel strongly about this. And that's what I want. Like a little fun, a little bit mess, but don't like go all in and
or just guessing when like I'm not going to trust anyone that's like reporting. Like if you're just some random FPL person, like I'm not going to listen to it. But if you're just like, hey, this is what I think, then I'm all for it. Like if it's just your own opinions, then I'm all for it.
It's fun. Let's talk about why you think that. Okay. I don't want to say too much more on this Tottenham because the more we actually do talk about it, I am stressed out. That's obviously why we're not staying on Tottenham because I actually am stressed out about it. So, how do you see this match going? You don't see us losing, do you?
I don't.
Do you?
I don't. Okay. I don't see a loss, and I don't see a draw. Okay. A couple things. I get like everyone being worried, and I think it's totally normal to be worried, but the sheer just like injury record right now. Basuma's out, Ugogi's out, Davies is out, so they have no right back. Their midfield's going to be, without having Basuma, that's a huge miss as well. So I would have loved to have Foden on the right just because they're going to be so strained there that I would prefer Phil to be able to work on that end. Bernardo is still going to have fun. Whereas Pedro Porro, I think he's better than he's gotten credit at times. Even defensively, I think he's looked better than what he has at times. So we'll see how he matches up against Phil. But Tottenham have been a mess. They've been an absolute mess, and I really don't expect too much. I mean, yeah, they can hit us on the counter. It can happen. It has happened time and time again. But the comments from the embargoed press conference where Pep was talking about the net spend and like banging on the table, I mean, I was all in. Just like I was like a little nervous. And I was like, all right, no, we're good. We're good. Like I hope there's a documentary. I need to see what the pep talks look like. Like it just, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Pep gets me so. I love watching his interviews so much. Yeah. God, I haven't been on the shows, but I'm still watching them, just like a little kid. And honestly, it's even better because I'm able to just like watch it and just giggle instead of having to be like, what is he saying? What does it mean? No, I've just been vibes these last 2 weeks. It's been beautiful, and now we're leading up to the most important week of the season. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. I actually see a 3-1 win. I see just dominance. What Van der Ven? How do you feel about this Van der Ven dude? Everyone is so going crazy about him.
From what I've seen, he seems to be pretty solid. I don't watch a ton of Tottenham. One of my closest friends is a huge Tottenham fan, has been like raving about him all season. Yeah. And also, I don't know if you saw the goal he scored last week. He scored almost an identical goal to Gvardiol. It was really impressive. So it's one of those things of he's crazy athletic. I think he's clocked in as like one of the fastest players in the Premier League. So the idea of like him and Haaland having to go up against each other, I don't know how long he's going to stay at Tottenham. It depends on what this Ange project kind of looks like, but he could be someone that potentially I would love City to go for in a couple of years if Spurs don't, end up working out.
Okay. So that's what you meant because you said Ange project. So I was like, what do you mean by Ange project? Go on.
Oh no, I'm a huge supporter of it. Like I think he's gotten a lot of flack. Yeah, like, and I tweeted it out this morning where I was just like, they were 8th last year. They sold Kane, and yeah, I know they had a lot of easy games in the early half of the season, but the fact that then they won all of those games is a good thing. And it's just like, oh, they're losing all at the end. It's like, well, yeah, the whole team's hurt. They don't have a left back. There's like a ton of injury issues. It's a smaller squad. Like the fact that they're potentially even about to play in Champions League, like if they get 2 wins at the end of the season and Villa lose on Sunday, then that's it. Or Saturday, whatever it is. But I could not be like bigger right now, or like more optimistic, I should say, of Ange and what he's doing. I think it's really weird in the last like month or so. It's just so results driven how everyone has just kind of started to shift on him.
He's brilliant. Like, when it just comes to him as a mind, it's obvious how great he is. And changing Tottenham is a giant feat. And you have to change foundationally. It needs to change. And really the foundation is like ownership, and that's not none of that really is changing. But they got the shiny new stadium. There's plenty of money coming in. You're seeing signs of progress. I don't understand why. I mean, you're patient with, I feel, maybe like a lesser manager or maybe a similar manager. Ange hasn't played in the Premier League long enough to really call him a flop or a success. But if you see what he's doing a high line at Tottenham, but still keeping their counter. I don't know. It just, everything that he's doing, it's fun, it's fresh, I mean, people have kind of gotten a little like soft on De Zerbi, but I think they're peers, at least. You can tell that they're on the same, like, brilliant minds. They're trying to change football. They're trying to show something different. I'm all for that. We need those people in the Premier League if the Premier League wants to continue to be the number one league in the world, because right now, according to UEFA, we ain't it.
Yeah, the downside of none of us in the semis.
Yeah. Actually, I want to divert from, before we get to West Ham, I want to highlight that kit that you're wearing, my boy. We talked about it a little before we went live, but look at that. What is that, my boy?
Yeah, just it's right on the City Shop. It's just a blacked out version of, I think it's maybe like the 92 or 93, one of the early 90s kits. I can't remember. Not the 97, which is my favorite. But it's it's like they have a ton of retro ones on there. You can go through and buy them. They have like the FA Cup one from like back in the 60s, red and black stripes. I don't have a promo code. Sorry, you can't do like promo code Dillon for 10% off or anything. This is not an ad. Yeah, sorry, this is not a plug. This is just two dudes talking about fashion.
And I love it, even though I'm rocking Celtics. They're playing right now, so I'm spiritually, I'm with them. Playoffs.
Tatum having a real good first quarter.
It's he's the one who's going to have to carry the team, carry, because they're actually an incredibly talented, balanced team, and that's why he's able to pick and choose when he attacks. But anyway, we're talking about football, not basketball. That can be later. West Ham, you're seeing a lot of West Ham accounts just joking about how, hey, we're just going to give this match away, and I joke about West Ham going to give the match away, and I just get killed. Like, people are just like, boo, stop it, you're jinxing us, blah, blah. I know, typical City. But, like, come on now, do you really think, yes, they're players, they want to win? Like, I hate that I have to say this. Like, why can't we just be scintillating and silly at sometimes? But yeah, they're flying kites. They're vibing. They're talking about where they're going to go here and there. They're going to relax. Some of them have to do competitions in the summer still. You think they're going to go all out to help Arsenal win the Premier League? Are you serious?
I am kind of curious to see what the situation is going to be, especially with, like, it seems like Moyes, like the end of the Moyes reign.
Yeah.
And the comments he made too with he was like, oh, it'd be a struggle to beat the U14s. So it's just like, are they going to be kind of up for it because of that? Are they going to more than want to, like, they're just, like, they're checked out, they're on to Cabo, like, whatever the thought process is for them. Squad wise, they do sometimes give us a little bit of trouble, and Moyes can defensively, kind of work things out. But I'm not, West Ham is not the match I'm more worried about, to be honest. That's not where like a lot of my issues are coming with. I mean, they did scare us for a second, earlier in the season, when I think it was Bowen that had the early goal, with, like, when Doku and Guardiola kind of had a miscommunication. Guardiola got himself out of position. Bowen went right in over the top. But defensively, the team seems a lot more solid, so I don't see those kind of errors happening again. So for me, way more worried about Tottenham. I'm expecting for the final day to be honestly not, I shouldn't say a breeze to the Premier League, obviously, but that's not what I'm worried about.
Good. So we handle Tottenham, and you're just like, woo, we're good.
I mean, hey, I'm flying over to that, so it better be. I mean, to be honest, but
this
yeah, I
your
think that might
sin if
just
City
be
lose
Cope.
on Saturday. I was gonna say, you're the jinx. You single-handedly are carrying us.
I mean, for the like 200,000 people that were in my mentions destroying me when I said that I was going to go to this game, I'm sure all of them are going to completely bring those torches back and light me on fire. So,
what is supposed to be one of the happiest days of your life, everyone's like, jinx, we hate you.
How'd you get a ticket? I'm sorry.
I think that's the thing now.
Yeah.
It's the Willy Wonka.
I responded to an email. That's how I got a ticket. I responded to an email.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Let's get a little serious now. Let's talk about Pep. His contract next season. It's over. He keeps saying, I want to wait till basically as close to the end as possible because I want to make sure they're not on nonsense and what the future looks like. I think he can leave. I don't think he will leave. Pending this summer. I think if we get some even more fantastic young talent, that will keep that fire burning in him because he just doesn't like yelling at the same people, the same things, especially when they're failing. And I just, when I hear him talk about Daku, when I hear him talk about Vardiol, when I hear, those are fantastic. When he's talking about Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis last year, you still get so much from him. If we just have to 1 year at a time, I'm okay with that. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about Pep?
I was nervous a little bit further back. So when the stories started to come out a little bit, about right before the second leg of the Real game, where it was like, oh, they're him and Cheeky are like planning to leave, and there was like a little bit of a warm up in the story. I was getting nervous, but the more I think about it, I think it's more of just whenever one of them leaves, they're both going to leave, which I think makes sense. They're not that old. I think Cheeky's a little bit older. I think Cheeky is like late 50s, early 60s. Pep, I believe, is in his like early to mid 50s. It's really not that old. I know that like family has sometimes been talked about, but his family's older now. I mean, it's been 8 years. So I think both of his kids now also live in Barcelona. And I know there was talk that he's actually moving. I think he had an apartment in city center and he's now kind of bought like a house in like a little bit further out in the district of the city. So, and that way it's like, okay, maybe he's getting almost a little bit more settled. But I think it can go either way. I think the main thing is if Bernardo leaves, potentially if De Bruyne leaves, whether it's Saudi, whether it's San Diego, like that was the news today. I think if those types of players leave, that actually almost increases the chance of him staying, depending on who they bring in, whether it's Wirtz, whether it's Paqueta, whether it's, Bruno, whoever they're going to bring in potentially to really start to shake up this lineup. I think that that's really what's going to potentially drive him to stay even more. Because he made the comment with Haaland. He's like, oh, I want to coach him for a few more years. Yeah. He said that. He's now granted, this is like his fourth language between like Catalonian, Spanish, German, and then English. So it's like, granted, sometimes he does misspeak, but he knows by saying years like what he's saying. And I don't think it's like completely out of the realm. And now that Foden is really becoming the player that we've all kind of like knew he was going to be, and then also is becoming almost more of a leader, which is not something I was expecting. Like you're seeing him a lot of times walking over and like kind of commanding players and really starting to become, like a more senior figure in this squad, which sounds crazy to think about. Cause I remember when he was like 120 pounds soaking wet. And like in that like summer friendly game, like going up against Pogba, it's like crazy to think about where he is now. But right. I think that might make him want to stay. And yeah, with Gvardiol like starting to shine into this absolutely ridiculous player and whoever else they're going to decide to bring in, those things can get him to stay longer. But when it comes to like a replacement, There isn't one. Like, they're just, and I said this last time I was on, I'm going to say it again. Like, there is not going to be a replacement. I don't care if it's Xavi. I don't care if it's Enrique. I don't care if it's De Zerbi. I don't care if it's like Big Ange. Unless ChatGPT gets to the point where we can create an AI Pep Guardiola that is at the same exact mental power, there is nothing that is going to be a dream replacement. It is going to be a step down, and we are not going to be as good. And I'm going to hammer that. I'm going to scream that from the mountaintops. And if I'm wrong, fine, I'll be wrong. This isn't a hot take. This isn't me trying to like garner clicks, because I to me it's the coolest throne of takes. Like, it's just, he's the best manager of all time. When he goes, the team's going to be much worse. Not much worse in the sense of they're going to be relegated, but look at what's going on with Klopp at Liverpool. Like, they're struggling. They're not even really in the title race, and they've like they've fallen out of favor for the past couple of years. And that's Klopp, who's an amazing manager. Think of what's going to happen if it's anyone else.
Yeah, good point.
Sorry.
and you're no need to apologize, because you are right. It's not a crazy take, but what is a crazy take is you admitting that you're willing to bow to a Pep bot overlord. Like, what is that? Wow. He just said
I'm not
he's
pro
willing
AI.
to give his fandom over to AI. As someone who is into cinematography, I can't believe he said that. Oh my God, get him.
I will say, as like, this isn't hey, AI is good, but if it strictly comes to managerial tactics for the soccer team that I support, I'll consider it. Yeah, or clone. Yeah, someone else just said in the chat, can we clone Pep? I'm also for that. If that's, if that's somehow better, that's ethically better. Yes. Yeah, if it's like not,
is it ethically better?
Yeah, like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, let's get into that talk. Is it better to be AI or the clone?
Is it?
Like,
I love it.
Oh man! What if instead we actually just like take like the harvest, like, like just harvest people's like blood, like that billionaire's doing with his son, and like injecting them into himself? Yeah, just so it's like he can live for 200 years. Yeah,
I mean, I'm down for it. Let's try anything. It's not me that we're going to be testing on, so yeah, let's go for it. Hey, let's just add another charge, baby.
Yeah, 117.
Well, when we put this in here, I was like, all right, let's have some fun. Let's get real. Is it just me? Or over the last couple of years, have we really picked up a very divisive contingent of fans? Like, it's there are people, obviously, they're the Grealish haters, and people are still pooping on Daku, and it took Vardial's insanity last week for people to finally be like, okay, he's not a flop. I mean, flop? Flop? Have you been watching him? It was insane that, because I wasn't seeing the word flop used like at all. I don't really pay attention to people who honestly use words like flop, especially with a first-year player coming from a different league and all. Like, it's just so much when you talk about like real stuff. I know that we're on live streaming, so we're supposed to be insane, but there are moments of that. You've seen me. I'm ups and downs, peaks and valleys. So this is a moment of reality where it's just, what is going on? Is it just, this is just the curse of success? Like, what's going on? Because because I'm seeing it on the other end with a lot of United fans right now. They're having a real ego death right now. Like, they are having some real conversations with each other, and it is insane to see. And I am fearful that we're flying very close to the sun with our fan base right now.
It's, for me, I think it's a few factors. It's one of those things of like, I definitely see it. You absolutely see it. It's a collection of like, hey, it's Twitter. How real is Twitter in the sense of like gauging like a fan base at large, especially now in a post Elon Musk world where like it just it's a much more, it feels like even more negative experience. Yes. I say that like I'm not addicted to the app, but it is strange. I think it's a little bit of, it's just like the consequence of success, that the fan base gets bigger, more people then want to talk about it, more people then get online. people are naturally going to be more inclined to say something when they're upset than when they're happy. You're more likely to leave a Google review or like anything like that. If you're someone that does that, or a Yelp review, if you're someone that does that, you're way more likely to do that if it's a negative experience versus if it's a great experience. If it's a great experience, you go, oh my God, what a great experience. And then you just like put your AirPods back in and then walk out and never think about it again. So it's just like, whereas if it's a bad experience, you'll think about it for the rest of your life. So for me, it's just one of those things of, I think people are really spoiled. The fan base is, I think, super spoiled. And what we're experiencing is not normal, and it should be relished, which is that the whole same point that I'm bringing with. But I think it's a lot of people where they're potentially on a little bit on the younger side, or like this is the first time as like either like teens or like college age kids where they've like experienced this level of success, and they think that this is what it's always going to be, which is just not what it's always going to be. And they think that it's FIFA and that everyone always is going to play to the like highest like ability that they can. And there's never any issues and there's never any drops in form or anything like that. But yeah, man, I see it like after every article that posts, you know, when City Extra posts an article and they tag me, and it's just like comments of just like of how negative people are. It's crazy. I'm down to get, if there's like specific topics you want to talk about, I'm like cool to go in it. It's just one of those things that for me, I kind of try to tune it out a little bit, but yeah, what's up? What in particular do you want to talk about?
I know I 1,000% tune it out. And so, because, okay. Nope, I got nothing. Because they don't, that chaos doesn't, I was like, okay, let's delve into it. Because for one, those are just general people that I don't, what can you talk about with them? Because it is so negative. And this is even outside of football, like in life, those aren't the people that I want to talk with. I want to hang out with, I want to vibe with. So why would I do it with football? That's what I was saying when I saw the word Vardiol and flop, my brain melted. And that was the conversation. That was what everybody was tweeting, was just like, everybody's calling Vardiol a flop. What do you think now? And every single tweet was doing numbers, even though everyone was saying the same thing. And it was like, was this real? And again, is it really the mindset? Because it's social media and stuff like that. But at least for it to do numbers, that had to have been a sentiment and somewhat. And I mean, if you listen to our show, we're very honest. And I said at the beginning of the season, his biggest struggle was awareness. He would lose the ball. He wouldn't know what was going on. You know what he's fantastic at now? Knowing spacing, knowing where to anticipate, where to go next. That's how he scored his goal, was just reading the pitch and knowing where the defenders are, their energy. It was he was jogging through the entire thing. And it's because he had it mapped out in his brain. And that takes awareness. You have to get comfortable. People were judging him before he could get comfortable in the situation. And at the beginning of and maybe that's just from talking out game, with so many different people who see football who are sane. I have 4 show bros who oftentimes when I get ridiculous, they tell me to chill. I feel like I've leveled out. Also, I'm the type of person that if I feel a certain way and then I see it on social media and people are kind of like giving my sentiment, that's when I know I need to kind of while out or like relax a little bit, back up and maybe figure out why I feel this way instead of just like being like, like let's delve deep into this hate of things. So I don't know. I'm just annoyed with people. I just wish our fans in general. Well, again, I don't want to say I wish those set of people, and that's just what football is nowadays. But I just wish those people find the joy in the sport that you're watching, right? Like everybody else is celebrating and happy and making chants and doing all this stuff. Like get into the fun, have some fun, guys.
Yeah, it's a couple of things. I think there were, as someone that also like was critical of Guardiola early in the season, and it wasn't like, oh, I think he's a flop. It was, he's playing poorly at times. He's out of position. He doesn't know the system yet. And and to me too, I've been critical of Doku as well. I know much to your dismay, Charlie a lot of times would like kind of clap back at me. And this isn't like, I don't think he's incredible. I do think he's incredible. I think he's 21. This is like a huge step up for him and he's got to learn. And he has, like, who he is now when he comes on versus what he was like when he first came on. He's still just as electric. It's just better decision making, and it's going to continue getting better the more that he plays. I think for a lot of people, they see the machine that City turn into, like, in April, May, and like roll through the competition. And then once, like, and it's every year. It's every year. I wrote the article about it in December when we were like 5 points away, and I was like, hey, like, why are you doubting this? Like, we're going to come back. And in August, September, October, when there's international breaks, like every 3 weeks and things like that, like, yeah, it's really stop start. It's really awkward. There's not a lot of chemistry and it doesn't look as smooth. And then the moment the team can start to play a ton of games together, wow, shocking. Like, everything starts to click. And so I also think, apart from people being negative, that's like number one. That is like the biggest thing on social media, is people being negative. A close number two, and I'm also a victim of this, everyone is, wanting to dunk on people and thinking that you're smarter than everyone else. So they're acting like there's all of these people are saying that he was a flop because, like, some random account with 3 followers with hashtag cheeky out in its bio was like tweeting at you about it. And it's just like, oh, there's a stadium full of fans that feel this way. And it's like, there isn't. And I do it too. Like, I'm not, this isn't to, like, say that, oh, I'm the one that's smarter. No, I'm dumb just like the rest of us. But it's one of those things of, like, those two things people love to do, and then people love to retweet it to be like, yeah, I knew he was going to be good too. And it's just like, oh, it's a whole cycle.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm here. I'm totally. I was dunking on people. I definitely tweeted, all you people talking about Guardiola's a flop are idiots. I love calling people idiots. I love calling people dummies and goofs and herbs and losers. I am a. I love hating on people. I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. I do. Some of you guys I don't like. I tweeted, and I've gotten really good at, when I start getting real mad, I'm like, all right, I need to go to my personal account and get some of this stuff off. I tweeted. It's like, some of you guys are losers, and I don't like you guys, and I need to get, and I'm getting better at just keeping it general so you don't know who I'm talking about. Oh, man. Jen, true. Let's hope we can retain what Pep has taught the team when he leaves. And a way we can do that is, he's been at City for 8 years. That is enough time to get plenty of DNA to, like we said, clone. There should be an 8-year-old Pep right now. You know, he just needs to stay for 3 more years. And then he gets old enough. Obviously, he has to grow, but we'll feed him the knowledge now, you know, so he can be prepared. He'll be like a 21-year-old wonder kid, just managing Manchester City. Yeah, they're like, he looks oddly enough like Pep, but he's English. It's just, you know, maybe they can dye his hair. You know, they do real weird things with cloning. You know, maybe just change him a little bit. He's just like a red-headed version of Pep. That'd be fun.
He eats beans on toast, the whole thing.
Oh, man. Oh, okay, so I want to get to transfer talk because this is always fun, and Sharpie always yells at me for wanting to talk about transfer talks when the league is still going, but he's not here right now, so we can have some fun. Oh, man. You did not mention Musiala. I know he's a long shot, but I'm never letting go because I just know he would fit in words. I feel like it would take some time. I think Musiala, you can just plug him and he's immediately just like kicking ass. And it's just because that's who he is as a player. I don't watch, actually. Everyone watches so much Leverkusen. I don't watch much Leverkusen. And that's kind of how I am. I just see what Musiala can do in this club. He is a brilliant player. He plays with hunger and ferocity, but also wants to get his teammates in. He can score. He can assist. He's a technician, and he's 21. Like, it's just, it makes all the sense. I know versus he makes more sense for City, but when it comes to like bringing in Daku, I mean, shoot, I totally like. I had a whole thing on Daku, but we can keep it moving. But it's just like him. We need that change up. We get so used to all right, this is the Man City player. Like when Mahrez left, and there was rumors about Daku, I loved it because it's a changeup. You need that, and people were just like, and I was trying to say he's much more like Mahrez than you think. Obviously, he was losing the ball a lot more than Mahrez, but early Mahrez was running at people. He was losing the ball, and then he tightened it up, and he became just an assassin. And we're seeing that with Daku when he comes on. He's a fucking assassin. And earlier in the season, when players were hurt, we were still trying to figure out things. We were recovering from Cole Palmer leaving. They were just feeding him the ball, telling him to do stuff because we had no idea what to do. So if he's losing the ball, of course, because there's no system. It was literally just give Daku the ball and create stuff. But that's not really what people want to hear. That's not really what people want to talk about. And now that he understands it more, he's trusts his teammates a little bit more. He's not trying to show why he was brought to Manchester City. He's doing his thing. But Musiala, bro, I want him. What are your thoughts on that? Have you seen much on him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's incredible. I mean, he's everything that you would want out of a Pep Guardiola midfielder. The only kind of thing that makes me a little worried is just Foden's like development. That's the only thing of like, if he comes in because he's just a very similar style player, what does that do for then Foden's development? That being said, Musiala to me is like, I don't even want to entertain it just because I don't want to get upset if it doesn't happen. And I'm worried that instead it's something like that it's just like a contract negotiating tool. That's just what I get worried about, is that it's like he's not going to end up signing. And it's just going to be a did you back out or did I back out? Was there an issue? Okay. My bad. It's one of those things of like, I don't want to entertain it. Because if it doesn't go through, I'm going to be devastated. But he's unbelievable. His dribbling is in close control is unbelievable. I think he'd actually do a great job of replacing Bernardo in that way. It's one of those things of he's someone that is so special, but to me, it's contract. To me, it's all contract. He's about to get a fat Bayern contract. I think the same thing of Kimmich as well, who I'd love to see. But something tells me that's just agents throwing names out there just to bump that price up.
Bayern, they need to throw everything at him because even with Kane, they didn't look. I don't know. It's obviously it is what it is, but I don't know. If they lose Musiala, it's bad, especially like Kimmich. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I'm very happy with Verts. I'm very happy with Paqueta. I want nothing to do with Bruno. I don't know why. He's a talented player. I see what he I don't know. It's nothing against him. It's just, so he came to Newcastle and he was like, Newcastle. And then like after a few years, now he's supposed to be like all love for Manchester City. And I know that's not how every player needs to be. Like everybody can't be like eat, sleep, breathe City. But we're supposed to be like oil brothers with Newcastle. I don't want to start a beef with taking him away. He'd be great. He'd be able to. Rodri could legitimately sit and we'd be fine. I love that, but I just want to. I don't know. He doesn't move me. I see him more as a defender, and I know he can distribute. He's a very talented player, but I just feel like once he's brought to City, he has to do so much for Newcastle. And he would have what would be asked for him at City is so much less, and I just don't think that football wouldn't translate here. Very similar to Jack Grealish at Aston Villa to Manchester City. I don't think it would translate fully.
Yeah, and the other thing too with it is the like Rodri replacement talk, which everyone knows we need someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how much money are you going to spend to sign someone, and then they're going to be okay with not playing as much? It's like it's a thing of. Now, maybe it's a thing of Bruno can then also play in the 8 and then sometimes drop back to the 6, but there's never really been, like, people talk about that a lot, like it's a thing that could happen. That's never been a choice that Pep has ever wanted to do. It's not like Fernandinho would, and Rodri would play like, so they did the double pivot because they had to in 1920, but like that's not a thing of like where he has people yo-yo in that. He'll sometimes yo-yo people from like the 8 to the wing, and even that he doesn't love to do.
Bernardo.
So it's just like, yeah, it's like in that position, like that 6th position, to me, it's the most difficult position in all of the sport. Like for Guardiola in there is so few people that can do that role. So it seems like a thing of like either it's a youth player, whether it's Jacob Wright, if he's going to be like able to kind of play 5 or 6 games in that role next year, which I don't see it personally, or yeah, maybe you sign Bruno and he drops back there every now and then, but I don't know. I see him more as like a pure box-to-box midfielder, and I would probably like him to then be adjacent of whoever's going to be the other more creative midfielder, whether it's Kev, whether it's Phil, whether it's Paqueta, if we're going to talk about him, like someone else in there that can then also create.
I'm so tired of all these like Saudi and stuff because like Kevin, okay, what this KDB, what percentage do you gauge that it is real or possible that he could leave this summer?
Like 30%.
Oh, that's actually more than
There's enough smoke to where there could be like a little fire. I don't think he's quite there yet, and I don't think he strikes me as someone that wouldn't want to walk away yet either. But I could see it that like next year where he's just like, all right, I'm good. Like I've done it. I'm pretty sure his contract expires. I think his contract runs out next year. If not, then there's one more year on top of it. They're both with, okay. So that's interesting. Like if an offer comes in for Saudi, there's that talk of like if they're going to pay 50 million or more. If you can get 50 million or more for a guy that's like 32, 33, it's not bad to take. Now, granted, I don't think he'd want to go to Saudi, and there's talk of him potentially going to San Diego as well. So I don't think like, oh, he's definitely going to leave. It would be like it'd be way more shocking than Company. Like when Company retired, it was like, oh wow, but I mean, it's like okay, that makes sense. This would be a little bit more shocking if you were to kind of dip out.
Oh, 1,000%. I would lose it. I would probably try to hop on some of these emergency live streams and be like, oh my God, what is happening? Oh, that would money would have to, the only reason why he would leave now, because he's so close to Britain. Now, he's not so close, but he's so close to breaking that Premier League assist record. That's what, at his pace, it's 4 more seasons, 3-4 more seasons.
Yeah, I think he would hit it probably in about 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, why not? Especially if we reboot, he won't have to play so much. He's the last person I want to see. But honestly, I'm with you. Actually, I'm kind of like 40%. I wouldn't be shocked. I would be upset, but I would understand. And I would expect a high price. I would actually expect like 70, 75. I think that's the only way he would leave. Because it's very similar to when Mahrez left. I think he just left because he's done everything at City, but he loved Manchester City and what they've done for him. And he knew he's not going to get money like that for them anyway. And it fits. He didn't hate it. Obviously his wife, she wasn't thrilled about it, but it's a great chance to get some money, help your club out also. And so truly shout out to him, what he did, Laporte, like both of them, like coming in and getting the bag for us. If all of our close to legends, our fan favorites, if that's what they can do on their way out is just get us a bag, oh my God. That gets a fan favorite bumped up to a legend, in my opinion. When you think of return on investment, money, help us out. Because there's a group of people talking about Ederson leaving. Actually, I want to sit with.
Oh, what?
No, it's just another like the Mahrez type of thing, like big money would come. I want to sit with Cancelo because he did a TikTok the other day where he was rating defenders and Vardiel came up and with the quickness, he was like, bye boy. So how there's no way we're getting anything really money for him. Like we're getting rid of him for what, 15, 20?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they get 30.
And who? Barca's not paying that. They're not paying that. They're truly trying to get like 12. I've been seeing some crazy numbers that Barca's trying to pay for him.
Yeah. I unfortunately I think it's just one of those things of the relationship is just so broken that
yes.
Teams can just kind of take advantage of that. Sorry. it's not the show. It's not the show.
He's a hard worker out there, man.
Not the show.
He had a hard day of work and Crunk hit him up and was like, get to it. We got to make this content.
It's a shame. I've talked about it the last time I was on the show of how I feel about Cancelo, and it has soured so much. And even just like part of me and everyone's like, oh, there's no way he can come back. And I was just like, well, maybe there's time. He's been away. And it's like, maybe there can be some kind of like, burying of the hatchet type moment. Mm-hmm. And then when I saw that video of him putting Vardiol at 10, now granted, maybe he just doesn't think he's good, which you're allowed to have that opinion. Maybe he doesn't really watch that many City games and he's only watched a few and he's watched the ones where Guardiola didn't play as well.
Was awful.
Maybe it's that. Do I think that's what it is? No.
Okay, I was like, you're giving him a lot of credit.
Do I think that like he sees this shiny new toy in his role killing it? Yeah, I do. And it's one of those things of like he's not learning. He still isn't learning. And maybe that's like a huge stretch and that isn't what the situation actually is. But when I saw that, I was like, God damn it, man. I was like, can you figure it out? Like, figure it out. You were going to be all these clubs are tossing you aside. Like, are you not going to see that maybe you're the problem? I hate Taylor Swift, but like you're the problem. It's you. I shouldn't say I hate Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan of her music. Please don't come for me. But it's just like, it's unbelievable. I got so frustrated at that.
So he hates Taylor Swift. He loves AI. Oh my gosh, we are learning so much about Dillon Meehan today.
Yeah, AI apologist.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're almost at an hour. This is great. I can honestly chat with you all the time, and we'll just have to keep bringing you back up. Basically, Chopping It Up is just a Dillon Meehan series. That's all this is, because you were on the first episode and now you're on the second episode. So I think that's just this is just what it is. It's Chopping Up with Dillon Meehan.
I'm all for it.
There you go. All right, it's been dubbed. This is now officially a segment.
Thanks,
of our
Jen.
show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get in here.
There are dozens of us.
We're out here
dozens.
Very loud, but being drowned out by everybody else. Oh man. Well, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you, the things that you're up to.
Yeah. So I'm writing at City Extra. If you don't know what City Extra is, I don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast. We don't know what City Extra is, but it's like the biggest kind of blog site for city content. I write there. I'm on Twitter. It's @_ and then just my first and last name, Dillon, Dillon, Meehan, M as in Mary, Eehan. Don't worry. I know you said Meehan. Everyone does. Totally fine. Don't worry. Everyone. Literally,
one more time. What is it?
Meehan. Imagine the H isn't there.
Meehan.
Imagine the H isn't
there.
Makes
no
sense.
I got you. I will make that adjustment. Yeah. Also, future reference. If I do it again, correct me. Even on live, I don't care. I don't have an ego when it comes to like that. Just correct me. I'd much rather be corrected than be wrong.
I got you. It's just _ and then my first name and last name as well. Check me out there. Podcast called After School Cinema Club. If you like film at all, check it out. We're not doing any recordings for the rest of the month just because me and both the other two hosts, all of us are going on international trips. and we did a poor job of planning it all. So that's on us. New podcast, and we're still kind of figuring everything out here. Yeah. But yeah, that's where you can follow me.
I joined just as he said he does like Taylor Swift. Oh, Carrie, most stuff. Hey, that came in at the right time. Maybe
like I said, there are dozens of us.
I'm not the type to clip things, but maybe I should just get real chaotic. Let's clip them. Get them to Swifties. Actually, I would never.
I already had the entire British Isle get mad at me because I'm going to my first ever soccer game.
And then I'm going to throw Swifties on top of it.
Give me Ollie McCool if you're watching this. Come for me, buddy. Like, I'm sorry I don't like Taylor Swift. That's the only major Swiftie City fan that I know. Shout out City Report podcast. Sorry if I'm saying another podcast on this network, but
it's whatever.
We're a family.
Exactly. All right, Shady Gang. A new episode will be recorded tomorrow. That is with the homies. I will be working on content season. For you guys watching, if you don't know, we're Shades of Blue. We are a podcast. We do weekly shows. We do lots of live streams, but we also have content season where during the summer, we don't take breaks. In fact, we do more shows. So there will be an episode dropping basically every other day from the beginning of June to when the season kicks off in mid-August. Lock in, prepared, lots of really fun things, huge announcements also coming from us that has nothing to do with content season. Please tap in. See, I actually didn't either. I didn't let them know, but I went in like Friday and I was like, hey, yo, I didn't explain what, but I was like, hey, I got to be out by 2. I don't know what to tell you.
Family.
If I'm going to, I purposely nowadays, because I'm so bad with lying, I can't keep up with them. So I just say what it is. And I even admit, hey, if I'm going to be here, because I still haven't told them, but I was like, if I'm going to be here, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be tapped in. I'm going to be distracted. I'm not going to be helpful. So I'm out of here. Peace, goodbye. And they're like, yeah, they'll be fine. And I was like, it doesn't matter if they'll be fine. I'm not going to be here. Sorry, I will be gone. Oh, man. Exactly. Just be a bad employee, but be an amazing Manchester City supporter. Shout out to you. You're doing the work out here. Be proud. Be proud. Oh, all right, Shady Gang. You know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady Gang, Shady